Hello, and welcome back. If you've been a part of my community, you know I'm dedicated to sharing practical and natural strategies to help you navigate the aging process with vitality. And in this segment, we'll continue our important series on protecting your vision as you enter your 60s and beyond. Let's be honest, few things are as unsettling as the gradual decline of our eyesight. So today, I want to explore a topic that's both accessible and incredibly impactful. The top 10 everyday foods that can help protect and, in some cases, even restore your vision. But before we get started, I'd like to ask you a few direct questions about your experience. Have you noticed any changes in your sight recently? Perhaps a blurriness when you're reading a book or a persistent need to squint to see your phone clearly? Have you been experiencing a sense of strain or fatigue behind your eyes after screen time? Or do oncoming headlights at night seem unusually bright and harsh? What about a feeling of dryness and irritation, even when you haven't been doing anything strenuous? You are not imagining these things, and you're certainly not alone. Throughout my 30 years of practice, these are some of the most common and distressing concerns my patients express. I frequently hear phrases like, "I feel like I'm slowly losing my sight, and I'm not sure what to do." It's a terrifying thought because when our vision deteriorates, so much of our independence can go with it. You might find yourself avoiding driving, giving up reading, or missing out on the small, simple pleasures that once brought you joy. A morning crossword puzzle, the expression on a grandchild's face, or a quiet moment with the newspaper. The most painful part for me is when people are told that this is just an inevitable part of getting older. And there's nothing they can do. But that simply isn't the whole truth. What I've witnessed time and time again is that providing your body with the right nutrients can be a game changer. I'm not talking about expensive pills or invasive treatments, but rather real, whole, natural foods that can nourish your eyes from the inside out and help you preserve the vision you still have. This is precisely what I'm going to guide you through today, one food at a time. And if you find this information valuable, I sincerely hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. It's not for my benefit, but so you'll never miss a chance to take control of your health. Now let's begin with one of the most remarkable leafy greens for your eyes. Our first focus is on one of the most underappreciated superfoods for your vision, Swiss chard. I know it may not be the most exciting item at the grocery store, but when it comes to safeguarding your eyes from age-related damage, leafy greens like Swiss chard are incredibly powerful. Here's why. Swiss chard, along with other greens like kale mustard greens and collards, is loaded with two unique plant pigments, lutein and zeaxanthin. While those names may sound a bit scientific, their function is quite simple and elegant. These pigments act as natural sunglasses for your eyes, filtering out damaging blue light and UV rays that come from the sun, your phone screen, and other devices. They accumulate in the macula, the part of your retina responsible for your sharp central vision. As we get older, our body's natural reserves of lutein and zeaxanthin begin to decline, which is when problems like macular degeneration and cataracts can start to emerge. But here's the good news. While your body can't produce these pigments on its own, you can obtain them directly from food. And leafy greens are the best natural source on earth. In fact, just 1 cup of cooked Swiss chard contains more eye-protecting nutrients than most commercial supplements, and without the hefty price tag. When patients come to me complaining of early changes in their vision, such as blurry text, eye fatigue, or trouble with glare, this is often the very first thing I recommend they add to their diet. You don't need to overdo it. Just a modest handful of greens each day, sautéed with a little olive oil stirred into a soup or added to scrambled eggs, can make a significant difference. And a little tip for you: lutein and zeaxanthin are fat-soluble, which means your body absorbs them much better when they are consumed with a healthy fat. We'll discuss this more soon, but for now, if it's been a while since you've had leafy greens, consider this your call to action. Because protecting your eyesight doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes it's as simple as what you choose to put on your plate. Earlier, I mentioned an important point. Certain essential nutrients for your eyes are fat-soluble and require a little healthy fat to be properly absorbed by your body. This is where avocados truly excel. Avocados are one of the finest natural sources of monounsaturated fat, the same heart-healthy fat that also nourishes your brain and protects your vision. But they don't just help other nutrients. Avocados come with their own potent eye-saving compounds too. Each rich, creamy bite provides you with lutein, that same macula-protecting pigment we just talked about. They also contain vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that shields your delicate eye cells from damage, and vitamin B6, which helps support the critical nerves connecting your eyes to your brain. You might be thinking, I already eat vegetables. Isn't that enough? Here's the crucial detail most people miss. You could eat all the leafy greens in the world, but if your digestive system isn't properly absorbing those nutrients, you're not getting their full benefit. That's why I consistently advise my patients to pair their vegetables, especially their eye-friendly greens, with a source of healthy fat. This could be half an avocado, a splash of extra virgin olive oil, a spoonful of cold-pressed avocado oil, or even a few chopped macadamia nuts. Not only does this help unlock more lutein and zeaxanthin, but it also helps lubricate your eyes, reduce irritation, and protect against long-term dryness, a condition that becomes increasingly common with age. I've had patients in their late 70s and early 80s report that they simply feel better after making this single simple adjustment. Less straining, less squinting, and less of the need to rub their eyes by mid-afternoon. And the best part? It's delicious. Adding healthy fats like avocado to your meals doesn't just benefit your eyes, it also makes everything taste better. So if your salads have felt a bit uninspired, or your vision has been feeling a little off lately, try adding a slice of avocado. Both your eyes and your taste buds will thank you. Now let's talk about something simple you might already have in your refrigerator: eggs. But not just any eggs. I'm talking about pasture-raised eggs, the kind that come from chickens that can roam freely, pecking at grass and insects and getting plenty of sunlight. These eggs are different. They have a richer color and are packed with more nutrients, especially the ones your eyes need most. The yolk of a pasture-raised egg is an incredible source of lutein and zeaxanthin, the same eye-protecting pigments we've been discussing. It also contains vitamin A, which is crucial for low-light vision and keeping your eyes properly moistened. Plus, you get choline and healthy fats that support brain and nerve function, including the optic nerve, along with bioavailable protein that helps maintain the healthy tissues in your retina and cornea. Now let me be very clear, I'm not suggesting that eggs will miraculously fix your vision overnight, but I have seen them make a genuine difference in my patients' lives. I once had a patient named Judith in her early 70s, whose vision wasn't terrible, but her eyes felt perpetually tired, dry, and sensitive to light. She was skipping breakfast or just eating toast or crackers, thinking it was a lighter and healthier option. We decided to switch things up. I had her start her day with 2 pasture-raised eggs, gently cooked, perhaps with a side of greens. Within a few weeks, she reported that her eyes no longer felt scratchy. She could read for longer stretches without needing to stop, and she had more consistent energy throughout the day. It wasn't magic, it was nutrition. Eggs provide your body with the fundamental tools to build and protect the structures of your eyes, from the lens to the retina. They also help stabilize blood sugar, which is a key factor for older adults trying to prevent vision loss due to diabetic damage. So if you've been skipping breakfast or relying on sugary cereals, consider returning to the basics. A couple of pasture-raised eggs a day can do more for your vision and cognitive function than most pills could ever hope to. It's a simple habit, but one that can pay off in clarity. Most people are surprised when I mention this next food. But if you ask any old-school doctor or nutritionist what food supports eyesight better than almost anything else, they will quietly and knowingly recommend beef liver. I know it's not the most popular food these days. Some people cringe just hearing the word. But here's the truth. Beef liver is one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet, especially when it comes to eye health. It's loaded with retinal, which is the active and most usable form of vitamin A. This is the vitamin your eyes rely on to adjust to different light levels. Without it, daily struggles with night blindness and light sensitivity can become common. It also supports tear production, which helps keep your eyes moist and comfortable. That dry, gritty feeling that so many older adults experience can be helped by this. But there's even more. Beef liver also contains zinc, which helps create the visual pigments in your retina, and vitamin B2 riboflavin, which helps reduce eye strain and protect the surface of your cornea. I understand if the idea of eating liver is unappealing, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming. Some of my patients simply mix a small amount of ground beef liver, about 50-50, with regular ground beef. Others spread a small amount of grass-fed liver pate on toast a few times a week. A little bit goes a long way. I recall a patient, Harold, a quiet 74-year-old retired electrician. He told me he hadn't driven after sunset in years because his eyes just couldn't handle the glare anymore. We didn't start with complex treatments. We started with food, a little bit of liver here and there. 2 months later, he had a big smile and said, "Doc, I drove home at night last week. First time in forever. No problem at all." That's the power of the right nutrients. You don't have to eat it every day, but if you're serious about protecting your vision, especially at night, this old-school superfood deserves your consideration. Small, simple, and often overlooked, but sunflower seeds might just be one of the best snacks you can choose, particularly if you want to protect your eyes as you age. Here's why. They are one of nature's richest sources of vitamin B1, also known as thiamine. This crucial nutrient plays a significant role in keeping your optic nerves healthy. When your blood sugar levels are consistently too high, something that happens frequently with age. Especially if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic, it starts to damage the tiny blood vessels and nerves in your eyes. Over time, that damage accumulates a condition known as diabetic retinopathy, which is one of the leading causes of vision loss in older adults. But here's the encouraging part. Vitamin B1 has been shown to help prevent and even repair some of that damage by protecting the nerves, improving circulation, and reducing oxidative stress within your eyes. And it's not just for those with diabetes. Even if your blood sugar is mostly stable, thiamine helps support the normal electrical signals between your eyes and your brain. This translates to less eye fatigue, fewer moments of blurriness, and stronger, clearer vision. I once had a patient, Rachel, 69, an active gardener, who loved being outdoors, but she had started feeling this strange pressure behind her eyes. Not exactly pain, but something felt wrong. Her blood sugar wasn't terrible, but it wasn't perfect either. We simply added a handful of sunflower seeds to her daily routine. A few weeks later, she told me the pressure was gone and that she could read on her porch again without any strain. It's not a miracle, it's nutrition. And sunflower seeds aren't your only option. Almonds, pistachios, macadamia nuts, and flax seeds also offer thiamine and other nutrients that support your eyes. But sunflower seeds are affordable, easy to carry, and easy to enjoy by the handful or sprinkled on a salad. Just be sure to choose unsalted, roasted, or raw seeds without any added oils. A small handful a day might seem insignificant, but when it comes to protecting the tiny, delicate structures of your eyes, sometimes simple is exactly what works best. If you've ever sliced open a red, orange, or yellow bell pepper, you know how incredibly vibrant they are on the inside, almost glowing. Well, that brilliant color isn't just for show. It's a sign that bell peppers are bursting with powerful antioxidants, especially vitamin C, the very nutrient your eyes need to stay clear, strong, and protected. Our eyes are filled with incredibly delicate blood vessels. As you age, those vessels can become more fragile. They might break more easily, carry less oxygen, and recover more slowly. This is when problems like blurry vision, eye pressure, and slow healing start to emerge. Vitamin C helps reinforce those tiny vessels. It also supports the gel-like fluid inside your eye, helping it remain firm and clear, and it plays a role in maintaining healthy collagen, which makes up the connective tissue in your cornea and retina. But here's a crucial fact most people don't realize: you need to get real vitamin C from whole foods, not the synthetic kind found in most pills. The vitamin C that is truly alive in raw vegetables like bell peppers is the kind that your body can use. Just one raw bell pepper can provide you with more than your full daily requirement. And it comes with bonus nutrients like beta-carotene, a precursor to vitamin A, along with lutein and zeaxanthin, those same pigments that help shield your retina. I often recommend that my patients add thin slices of raw bell pepper to their lunch salad. It takes almost no effort, but the cumulative benefit over time is remarkable. And if you're not a fan of the strong crunch, try lightly roasting them with a little olive oil. Just enough heat to soften the texture without destroying the nutrients. One of my older patients, a delightful woman named Mrs. Parker, used to joke that she hated vegetables unless they were fun to look at. Bell peppers completely changed her mind. She started using them in everything: scrambled eggs, wraps, even homemade soup. And her eyes, the redness and the gritty, inflamed feeling by mid-afternoon were gone. Small changes, big differences. So if you're looking for a colorful, crunchy way to support your vision, bell peppers absolutely deserve a spot on your plate. Some of the most powerful nutrients for your eyes don't come from the land. They come from the sea. Shellfish like oysters, mussels, clams, crab, and shrimp are packed with minerals that your eyes are critically dependent on. One of the most important is zinc. Zinc acts like a guardian for your retina. It helps create the visual pigments at the back of your eye, the part responsible for sending light signals to your brain. And it supports the tiny blood vessels that bring oxygen and nutrients to your eye tissue. Low zinc levels have been strongly linked to macular degeneration, particularly in older adults, so even a small boost in intake can make a big difference over time. But that's not all. Shellfish also contain a vivid red pigment called astaxanthin. It's the same compound that gives wild salmon and shrimp their pinkish hue, and it's one of the strongest natural antioxidants ever discovered. In fact, gram for gram, astaxanthin is over 6,000 times more powerful than vitamin C when it comes to fighting oxidative stress. And oxidative stress, that slow breakdown of healthy tissue, is one of the biggest enemies of aging eyes. Astaxanthin helps protect the retina, reduce inflammation, and can even improve blood flow to the eyes. This means sharper vision, better contrast, and less eye fatigue over time. So how do you get it? A simple way is to eat shellfish like wild shrimp, lobster, or crab about once a week. Just be sure to choose wild-caught, not farmed, and consider soaking them in a little water with a splash of vinegar for an hour before cooking. That simple step helps make the minerals more absorbable and easier on your digestion. If you're not a fan of shellfish or you have allergies, you can also find astaxanthin supplements sourced from microalgae. But as always, please speak with your doctor first. Either way, if you're serious about protecting your vision in the long run, the ocean has something valuable to offer. Most people think of vision problems as a matter of weak eyes, but in reality, a huge part of the issue happens in the tiny blood vessels working behind the scenes. Your eyes depend on a constant flow of oxygen and nutrients delivered through a fragile network of capillaries. When those vessels become inflamed, narrowed, or blocked, your vision begins to fade. That's why circulation is just as important as eye strength. And this is where a simple food like walnuts can make a real difference. Walnuts are one of the richest natural sources of vitamin E, an antioxidant that plays several important roles inside your body. It helps keep your blood thin enough to flow easily, reducing the risk of tiny clots. It protects the inner walls of your blood vessels from oxidative damage, keeping them flexible and strong. And it supports the cells of your retina, the part of your eye responsible for capturing light and creating vision. As we age, these small vessels become more vulnerable. One serious but often silent condition is called retinal vein occlusion, which is essentially a mini-stroke in the eye. It can happen suddenly and in some cases cause irreversible vision loss. But here's the hopeful part. Small dietary habits can reduce your risk. Adding a handful of raw walnuts to your daily routine is a gentle, natural way to support healthy circulation not just in your heart, but in your eyes too. On top of the vitamin E, walnuts also provide plant-based omega-3 fats, which help calm inflammation and support nerve tissue throughout your body, including the optic nerve. If you're not a fan of walnuts, that's perfectly fine. Other great options include almonds, pistachios, or macadamia nuts, as long as they are unsalted and minimally processed. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. A small handful of nuts most days of the week might not seem like much, but over time, it helps keep blood-flowing tissues nourished and your vision better protected. Because when it comes to preserving your eyesight, what's happening in your blood vessels matters just as much as what's happening on the surface of your eyes. When we think about protecting our eyes, we often focus only on the eyes themselves. But the truth is, your eyes are just one part of a much larger system. Every single thing you see, every image, every word, every face has to travel through a neural highway that goes straight to your brain. This means your eyes and brain are constantly working as a coordinated team. And if one begins to weaken, the other feels it. This is why wild salmon and other oily fish are so critically important. They are one of the richest sources of a special fat called DHA, short for docosahexaenoic acid. It's a long name, but here's what matters. DHA is a critical building block of both your retina and your brain tissue. Without enough DHA, the communication between your eyes and your brain begins to slow down. You may notice things like a general blurriness, poor focus, increased sensitivity to light, or even difficulty recognizing faces in dim lighting. Over time, low DHA levels have been linked to a higher risk of macular degeneration, dry eye syndrome, and even cognitive decline. It's not just about one symptom, it's about the entire system aging together unless we take action. The good news is that while your body doesn't produce DHA on its own, it knows exactly what to do with it when you give it the right fuel. That's where wild salmon, sardines, mackerel, and herring come in. They are naturally rich in DHA, and when you eat them regularly, they help restore the healthy fats your eye tissues need to stay strong and flexible. They also reduce inflammation, particularly in the tear glands. That translates to less dryness, less burning, and a smoother surface for light to enter through the cornea. I often recommend aiming for 2 to 3 servings of oily fish per week, baked, grilled, or steamed. Keep it simple. If you don't enjoy fish, you might consider a high-quality fish oil or krill oil supplement, preferably one with added zeaxanthin for extra protection. When you give your eyes what they are truly made of, you're not just helping your vision, you're also supporting your memory, focus, and mood. Because the truth is, your brain and your eyes are never truly separate, and taking care of one almost always helps the other. So far, we've talked a lot about food. What to eat, what to add to your plate, and how simple nutrition can change the way your eyes feel and function. But there's one more layer I want to share with you, and that's the quiet strength of herbs. For centuries, certain plants have been used to support circulation, reduce inflammation, and ease the discomfort that often accompanies aging eyes. Take ginkgo biloba, for example. This ancient tree extract has been shown to improve blood flow to the eyes, which can be especially helpful for people dealing with glaucoma or early signs of macular degeneration. Better circulation means more oxygen and nutrients are delivered right where your eyes need them most. Then there's chamomile and rooibos. Both are naturally soothing and gentle on the eyes. Many people use cooled chamomile tea bags over closed eyelids to help relieve puffiness, irritation, and redness. It's an old remedy, but it still works. Milk thistle is another one worth mentioning. It helps support the liver and increases levels of glutathione, your body's master antioxidant. When glutathione levels go up, your eyes get an extra layer of protection from oxidative stress. This is particularly important for individuals with diabetes or long-term blood sugar issues. If you struggle with inflammation throughout your body, including your eyes, consider adding turmeric to your meals. Its active compound curcumin has been studied for its ability to reduce eye dryness and general irritation, particularly in older adults. And finally, a lesser-known herb called Coleus forscolii has shown promise in reducing intraocular pressure. which is often the root cause of glaucoma. It's not a cure, but it may be helpful when used alongside other support strategies. Of course, herbs work best when used thoughtfully. Always check with your doctor before starting a new supplement, especially if you're on medication. But when used with care, these plants can support your efforts, helping your eyes feel more comfortable, better nourished, and better protected in the years ahead. You can eat all the right foods. You can fill your plate with salmon, leafy greens, bell peppers, and even herbs. But if your body can't absorb those nutrients properly, your eyes won't get the support they need. This is the hidden problem most people over 60 face: poor digestion. As we age, we naturally produce less stomach acid and fewer digestive enzymes. This makes it much harder to absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and those crucial pigments, lutein and zeaxanthin, the exact nutrients that protect your eyes. That's why I often recommend adding a high-quality digestive enzyme supplement before your 2 largest meals of the day. Look for one that includes ox-bile-pancreatin and betaine HCl. These help your stomach break down fats and release nutrients more efficiently, giving your eyes the full benefit of what you eat. And beyond digestion, don't forget the basics. Stay properly hydrated. Significantly reduce your intake of refined sugar, get some natural sunlight, and remember to rest your eyes. But most importantly, stay curious and engaged with your own health. Because when you take these small steps consistently, your body notices, and your vision, your precious ability to see and connect with the world, gets a real chance to stay sharp. If you've watched this far, thank you. It genuinely means you care about your health, and that makes all the difference. If this video was helpful in any way, please feel free to tap the like button. It helps more people see it. Leave a comment below to share your experiences or ask a question. I always try to read through them. And if you'd like more videos like this, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. I'll be here to guide you through every step. Until next time, please take great care of those eyes. They've served you so well.